Thanks again, Jeff, for taking the time away. I know we're both getting ready to travel out to Prague for another European SharePoint, Office 365, and Azure conference this year in Prague. Very excited to get back out to Prague. And have you visited Prague before?
No, this is going to be my first time. So I'm really excited. I'll take a little bit of time after the sessions to wander around the city.
Well, hopefully the weather will be kind to us over there.
Yeah.
So what do you have in store for us next week in Prague?
Yeah, well, it's been a pretty busy year for us in terms of innovation. So it's great to wrap up the year with ESPC, where we can celebrate some of the things we've done, but more look ahead at what's coming. And so we've got a lot of exciting updates across the board, from core document collaboration, how Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and OneDrive streamline, co-authoring with some new capabilities. There's some things we've announced, like replying to an app mention in email on your phone and updating the document, seeing related Teams chats and conversations to files and so forth. So a lot of great stuff around, good old solid content collaboration that we all do every day. If you expand up to SharePoint team sites that are connected to Microsoft Teams, we've got some exciting updates about how more and more native SharePoint capabilities are showing up inside Teams and enhancing those SharePoint features, lists and libraries, and the apps built around them. Then we graduate up to intranets. Hopefully people have seen all the work we've done around the SharePoint lookbook, the new UI. It's great going to Europe because we'll have some exciting updates around things like multilingual support in the new SharePoint experience, more work on search. And then if you sort of, as we graduate up from working on files to working in Teams to traversing and organizing your intranet, then we've got some pretty exciting news we announced at Ignite that we'll bring to ESPC in detail, which is something called Project Cortex, where we use AI and ML to generate a Wikipedia out of Microsoft 365 and link it into all your experiences. And then a bunch of developer stuff and admin stuff and security and migration. And so a lot. And we have something for everybody.
I know because you talk a lot about the kind of the 5 themes this year. So you talked about knowledge and intelligent intranet, content team collaboration, the developer platform you just mentioned, and then security administration. Yep. You've got to kind of get those 5 buckets. I mean, there's been a lot of talk, because Project Cortex being a huge bit of news around the intelligent intranet and the knowledge management part of that. I'd be interested just to get your perspective. I mean, how knowledge and knowledge management, that space in intelligent intranet, have evolved over the last couple of years. Because it seems like there's just a lot that's under the hood happening in those 2 areas. Now, I mean, there's a lot happening across all those areas.
Well, our aspiration from the beginning, when we started the team that became SharePoint, is always how we can use software to help organize information and bring it to users when they need it. And we've made progress in helping people create intranets and powering them with search. But Project Cortex is a huge leap, because we have, with the data we have in Microsoft 365 and a whole set of new machine learning AI algorithms, we finally have the tech to do the bulk of the work for people to organize their intranets and then make a reasonable call of when to proactively bring it into the UI. So, when should we turn a term on a SharePoint news article into a topic card, for example? And so that's really the breakthrough, is this, and you see this in the rest of in Microsoft 365 and Azure, and frankly, the entire technology industry. You see a hockey stick of experiences that are possible because of machine learning. And so Project Cortex is riding that wave of innovation across Microsoft. And our goal has always been to make it easy. You didn't have to be an AI or machine learning expert. And of course, because it's SharePoint, a lot of people will ask us for more control. I want to customize the workflow or security, and so there will be a set of people who will say to us, give me what you got, and I don't want to do any work. I just want it to be as easy as possible. And then there'll be a set of people who will say, hey, I want to control the experience, but thank you for suggesting how to organize and disseminate this information.
Well, that's a huge distinction because, I mean, some of the concepts, I mean, certainly the technology is far advanced over it was over the last 20 years ago, but some of the concepts were attempted. But in the past, to be able to automate, you took away any ability to go in there and control to do that. It was kind of done on your behalf, and you either liked it or you kind of hard-coded solutions. Versus now, the ability to go in there and kind of tune it to your need. Maybe one side of the organization needs something that's more out of the box, and just you can give them a solution, and others need to have something that is very hands-on, manual, and
they have more resources for editorial oversight, which is great. We're here to push the envelope of what the technology can do, but then each organization can decide how much governance they're going to put around it.
And it's not just about the data that's sitting inside of SharePoint either. I think that's important too, is because I think we used to talk about 7-8 years ago as the big data was the phrase everyone was using. How kind of everything we're doing, everything's become a big data issue, a problem, and you have all the same issues of, well, I have data that I need to interact with that's across multiple systems, multiple tenants, on-prem, in the cloud, across all those things. And at some point, you still need to be able to bring it all back and intelligently be able to surface that data at the right time, in the right place, the right people.
Yeah, exactly. And in Microsoft 365, we have conversations and documents and websites and videos and Teams chats and more. So you'll see us. Yes, this concept sort of evolved out of the SharePoint world, but the reason we're giving it a separate identity is while it's built on SharePoint, it is designed to address all the data in Microsoft 365 and plug into all the experiences in Microsoft 365.
I think that's a great distinction because it's certainly at Ignite, but over this last year, a lot of the conversations, it's not about the which tool to use when, because it's not like you're going and working in one place with one tool. You're working across all these different workloads for a single project or activity or with your team. Yep. And so I mean, I don't know how you are managing that from the product team side, working so closely with the other workloads to build some of these capabilities.
I think about each module of Microsoft 365 does need a hero application to optimize on that use case and participate in the category of the industry it's in. So, OneDrive for files, SharePoint for websites, Stream for videos, forms, etc. And so you should be able to go to a SharePoint destination, make a website, a Stream video destination, upload videos. But you want to use those services in different combinations. So you want your Stream videos to be in a Yammer community, in a live event in Teams, on a SharePoint site with the CEO's message, embedded in a PowerPoint. And so it sort of blows people's minds a little bit, but I do think because I do think it makes sense to have these hero apps or modules, but then have them composed together in different scenarios. And so you see this, probably the first big example of it last year at Ignite. Well, the first one we did was the people card. As you know, the people card we incubated this idea and then it showed up everywhere. Microsoft Search shows up in SharePoint, in Outlook, in Office, in Office.com, in Bing, etc. We did work at tasks at Ignite where your planner tasks integrate with To-Do and show up in Teams, and you'll be able to make tasks in Office. And similarly, Project Cortex, you can sort of think of the hero object as a topic, if you will, where we're automatically generating these topics and all the data types will be able to participate and all the user experiences will be able to surface them. So you're right. We are trying to get people to move away from what tool to use when versus they all work together in a system.
Well, it's I know there's a lot to digest there as we were chatting before we started recording here. It's going to take weeks still to go through all the announcements, and then we'll be queued up for the next round of announcements this next spring, the next SharePoint conference. But we're really looking forward to seeing you and seeing your keynote in Prague next week. And
as am I. The European SharePoint Conference is an amazing event. It's a fabulous community. I'm really excited to be there, and it's I can't wait. Just another week.
Looking forward to it as well. And Jeff, thanks a lot for your time, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Christian. Have a good weekend.